So for those of you who know me, you all know that one of my favourite series of games is the Fatal Frame / Project Zero series. I was just so excited when number 5 was announced to finally be having a remake, and I've played it to death. So imagine how happy I was when number 4 was finally announced. Why am I excited to go backwards? Well, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse was never officially released outside of Japan, and gosh was I excited when it was announced, and even more so to finally play it. So without further preamble, let's discuss 5 things that I love about Fatal Frame 4, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Number 1. A more modern setting. This one is going to seem pretty strange from the get-go, as most games within the Fatal Frame timeline feature disasters that are nearly 100 years old at the time that the game officially takes place. This gives the ghosts a very old feel. They wear kimonos, traditional wear, and while there are 1 or 2 characters that are wearing more modern attire, they're normally a rarity. That is completely flipped on its head this time around. The horror that caused this disaster is only 10 years old, and the main characters that we play as had a part to play within that disaster. It feels much more visceral and recent in its approach, and this adds an extra layer of horror to the game. All these ghosts are relatively new. They haven't had a chance to stew in their fear and anger, but are still oh so terrible. What do you think they would have been like if they'd been allowed to get older? There is also a lovely mix of traditional and modern settings, with the main location being an old hotel that was a hospital until very recent years. It's a refreshing take on the standard Japanese horror game / film locationing. Number 2. Combining science and superstition. Technically, this is a point that is standard throughout a whole of the series. After all, what is the camera obscura? It's a mythical camera that captures ghosts, but it's also a mix of science and magic. And I feel it is a part to the series that is terribly overlooked in the previous and even following games. And this one is not just the camera, nor the Spirit Stone radio, but also the main premise of the game. While there is a ritual that went horribly wrong that does explain most of the game's happenings, there is something much more sinister that was going on before all of this. It's called the Moonlight Syndrome, and that is a rubbish name compared to the Gogetsu syndrome of the original, but that's a by the by. It's a terrible sickness of the mind and soul that eventually transforms those infected into a strange creature that caused more fear and death in those around them. This illness is treated in a proper medical sense, with a full set of treatments, medicine, experiments. Science is exhausted first, before the doctors then turn to more archaic forms of magic and ritual. Even the reconstruction of the ritual is a wonderful representation of a failed set of research into archaeology. It's all very interesting if you are into that kind of thing. So for example, I'm a Norse pagan. There are no proper written articles on how to be a Norse pagan. We have to kind of make leaps of faith and things like that, which is exactly what is shown within the game. It's very interesting, and if you are wanting to look into those kind of things, there's a load of YouTube videos on it. I do recommend giving it a go. Number 3. There's a new way to tackle ghosts in this game. You have to love a game that tries something new, even if it fails. In every single game there has been a camera obscura, and each one they've added new lenses and functionality to the game. But this time, they went for something completely new. It's called the Spirit Torch. One of the key things about the camera obscura is that they require you to have some form of latent psychic ability to be used correctly or well. So what if you have none of these skills? Well, then this is the item for you. The Spirit Torch uses the power of moonlight to exorcise the ghosts or spirits in the area that are causing trouble. The main difference between the two? The fact that it does not capture them the way that the camera does, and so therefore they can return to bother you at a later date, or just if you stand around in one spot for too long. Still, it's nice to have a failsafe for when you aren't using the camera, or physically can't use the camera, isn't it? Number 4. The grabby hands. So this is going to seem like a really weird one, but up until this game, and obviously number 5, but they changed some mechanics to this for that one, but that's not what this video is about. While you watch the protagonist pick up an item, it was just for atmospherics and to have something jump scare you every now and again. This time there is an element of that, but there are also ghost hands. They come out of nowhere as you are reaching for an item and they grab your character's arm. Then you have to shake yourself free and watch as they steal the item you were trying to take. It's heartbreaking to watch the spirit stones that you needed to upgrade the camera disappear into the ether, but it definitely adds a proper risk-reward factor that isn't really present in the previous games. Thankfully, this can only happen on the non-important, non-story progression items, so it's not going to railroad you into a game over if you miss these. They are also completely 100% random, so you never know when they're going to attack. It's a lot of fun. As an example, I've played this game twice so far. One while streaming live over on Twitch, and the other one getting footage for this video. I didn't have any hands turn up to grab items away from me in my main playthrough until about chapter 4 or 5. During getting the footage for this video, literally the second chapter, a hand turned up. I was incredibly shocked. It was a lot of fun. And finally, number 5, the photo mode. So this is a bit arbitrary considering that the whole game is technically about taking photos, but there's something just so satisfying about creating a photo book full of the perfect photos that you yourself engineered and created. It's just so satisfying and wasn't included in any of the previous games. Well, except 5, but I'm not counting that as a previous game. I know that it's just a really small thing, but it's a lot of fun, and fun is where it all matters. So I did hope that you enjoyed today's top 5 video. I do look forward to seeing you next time. I would normally do a Book Nook series video after this, however I've already done that for Dead Space, which I'm sure the guys would love to see have linked down below. So next time we're going to try another cookbook recipe from the Fallout cookbook. Maybe I'll do Nuka-Cola this time, or if you'd prefer, I also have the Assassin's Creed cookbook. Let me know in the comments down below what you would like me to see me make. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care, and as always, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye!